Hey, horror fans, but now view back with Rachel McDonald. On this video, we continue the road down the wrong term franchise. So this is going to be the second wrong term movie. We obviously reviewed the previous one, the one with Elijah Diskew and Jeremy Sisto, the one with actual stars in. We reviewed that last week, I think it was, and you can find that review now on the channel. So we continue on with them. This is Wrong Turn 2, Dead End. I wondered how long it would take for them to get to that subtitle. It seemed like a
Yeah.
pretty obvious one to use. And you can find out whether we hit a dead end in our reviews of this franchise in a moment. But it's from 2007. It has a really similar plot to the first one, really. Again, it's sort of set in the woods. You've got the cannibals as the main threat. And the sort of difference this time is it centers on a reality TV style show, a bit like Survivor or those sorts of shows where you see the contestants have like physical challenge and things like that. And you sort of get a little sense of each character and their background. So there's like a football player, for example, who's had like multiple surgeries, so had to end his football career. So that's why he's doing this. You have like an ex-marine sort of thing, the Amber character. I mean, you have such big names as Texas Battle. I'm sure the name rolls off the tongue, and I'm sure she or he, I can't remember if it's a she or he, went on to massive things. Can opening kill this contestant Kimberly, who's on her way to take part in all this, and she's like the opening kill, which sets things up. And the biggest name in the film is Henry Rollins, obviously. And for those of you who don't know who Henry Rollins is, he was a rock star in the 90s, I think was his sort of peak era. Were you familiar with him or?
No, not at
Okay.
all. No one's
Uh,
familiar to me in this movie.
Okay. No, I thought you might know Henry Rollins because he's been in other films. He,
Okay.
yeah, he was in the Lynch film Lost Highway, and he's
Oh, all right.
maybe a small, but he has been in other films, and
Mm.
he's kind of known for like this sort of over the top, outlandish, like rock star persona where I think he plays like sort of a bad boy, like that's kind of his like rock persona as well, where he's very
Mm.
much in your face and sort of over the top and has a devilish sort of like delivery. But he's the one who plays like the drill sergeant
The
kind of
commando
thing,
guy. Yeah,
the guy
okay.
who's like leading them. So
Mm.
he's really the biggest name. Now, I did notice on the end credits then Patton Oswalt is in it, but
Yeah,
and I
I saw that on
who the hell
IMDb.
is he playing? And I checked later, and he just does the voiceover for when you get
Oh,
that
okay.
opening video when they're advertising the reality show.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I was quite surprised that they managed to get Patton Oswalt
Mm.
involved. But when I heard he was the voiceover, I guess that makes a bit more sense. Because even in 2007, I think even then he probably would have started appearing in things, because
Mm.
he's sort of been around a while now. So yeah. Okay, what did you think of Wrong Turn 2, Dead End?
I, I think we took a wrong turn doing this franchise. Pardon the pun. I've been waiting to say that. I I didn't even know where to start. So I probably should start by saying that the only versions of the sequels that I could find were the uncut versions, so the unrated versions. So
Okay.
I don't know if the one I saw is slightly different to yours. Maybe it might have a little bit more nudity. There was some
Alright.
nudity in there that I was just like, okay,
Yeah,
sure, time for
there
boobs. And
was. Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
the violence was really over the top. I couldn't I could barely make it through this movie. Okay. I at one point in time I wrote in my notes, I was like, okay, this has to be a parody, right? Right? This is I'm not supposed to be taking this film seriously, right? And then I realized, no, I totally am. I mean, what can you even say about this film, at least, so when we watched the first film, I'd never seen the first film. And as we said in our review, it was at least entertaining and suspenseful. And it kind of, even though the bad guys were still definitely not PC, again, we need to talk about this whole deformity equals evil and inbred thing that these movies have going, because it's not good. But at least in the first movie, they didn't, like the bad guys were barely seen. They were only had about 20 minutes of screen time maybe, so they were always just kind of this threat that was out there. It was subtle, and you didn't really see them until the end. Whereas with this one, they're just like so over the top right from the beginning, and like so many of their scenes, it was like, what point are you trying to make with these bad guys? Like, I swear, I don't know if this was just in my unrated version or if this was in your version, but there's like a scene where like one of the inbred dudes is watching someone get the funniest blowjob I've ever seen. And he's like in the tree and he's like breathing heavily, and I'm like, please don't tell me he's doing what I think he's doing. And then like 2 minutes later, I was like, oh no, they really did go there. So I found as I said off camera, I literally at one point, I was like, Keith, why are you making me watch this? And as we talked about, this is not your fault. This is your followers' fault. So Keith subscribers, I have a major bone to pick with you for making us watch this.
And
so
holy shit, Indian dude is an even better note. I look forward to getting to that part.
Stupid and over the top the acting and the reality TV show was, and being kind of like grossed out and like really at like some of the extreme overt violence. Like that opening scene, like the chick literally gets chopped in two, and then there was like this scene of like her guts just spilling out all over the highway, and it's like, this is not subtle or scary or anything. So I don't even know, like, I can't even coherently form any thoughts of this movie. So
opening scene that you talk about, for me, that was a good opening scene because I mean, as a good kill, that looked pretty good. But after that, the movie just went to pot. It was a bit strange in a way because, as you said, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of gross out stuff going on. But what's weird is with a lot of the kills, they then cut around the actual kills, and it'll just be like other scenes where there's extra activity going on where they all focus more on like the violence. It's sort of weird that you had a really graphic opening kill and then the other kills, a lot of it was like cutting around, which was a bit weird. So it had a good opening kill, and after that, I just switched my brain off. It was so sort of bad and amateurish. I mean, apparently the budget was 4 million. I don't know what they spent the 4 million on. It's very little of it appeared on screen. And the characters were they were all pretty much awful. I thought the actress playing the Amber character was maybe the pick of them. She wasn't too bad.
Was she the main chick, the blonde chick?
No, she was the ex-army one, the one who spent a lot of film with that annoying douchebag who, again, you speak about outdated stuff, but he, I mean, some of his attempts at humor and some of his, like, lesbian baiting sort of gag.
I know.
I mean, even within the context of he's meant to be a total douche and stuff, it was so cringe and just so annoying. And you think, well, make a character like that at least like entertaining to listen to, or so dumb it's kind of funny. But it was so common denominator his character. And just so annoying, and I just, because actually I didn't mind too much. I thought just get away from this guy basically. But it looks so bad. I mean the makeup effects. We obviously praised the makeup effects in the first film. They were terrible here. They look there were bits where it looked very CGI.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the kills were pretty lame overall, and you didn't, apart from maybe Amber a little bit. I didn't really care about any of the characters, really. Like, and I just thought, if you're going to make it entertaining, the jokes weren't even that witty. You like lame references to the director being a Tarantino wannabe. Heard that sort of thing before. It's not really that funny. I didn't really believe he was, this sort of potentially edgy hack director. I didn't believe in his character. As you said, very couturous, boobs for the sake of boobs. That blowjob scene and the stuff with the, because also in this film, I think we're now extending what these cannibals are and what they do to a ridiculous point. Because I think it's this one where it introduces them having like really childish hyena style laughs, like really, and I guess again it goes to that cliched place of them being kind of very horny and getting off on seeing a semi-naked girl. But even so, that stuff is a bit, I mean, who are these cannibals? I mean, and I think because there's a scene where one of them starts driving, and it's like, well, how do they know how to drive? I mean, there's no, there's no logic to
logical explanation.
No. So
did your version have the weird scene where like some of the survivors they're going through the forest and they see one of the cannibals and it looks like he's like raping one of their friends? And then they get closer to him and they realize that like he's having sex with one of the other cannibals who's wearing like the scalped hair of like the dead friend, like one of the dead. Did you have that scene? Because I got to that scene and I was like, you are seriously showing us a rape scene, are you? So when it turned out to be like sex between the cannibals, I was like, okay, it's slightly better. But like, I almost turned the movie off at that point. I was like, this is getting into territory that is like not even scary or not even like shocking. It's just stupid and dumb.
Stupid and gross, yeah. Henry Rollins is normally quite a good actor. I mean, he's normally quite a good presence because again, he's sort of playing that. Normally, when he appears in films, he plays the same persona than he has as a rock star, and he normally has a lot of charisma and it's very watchable. But he's just phoning it in. I mean, he wasn't really trying.
Yeah.
You sort of expected a bit of oomph, and for him to be like quite an entertaining, drill sergeant, but he was really just phoning it in. And once again, you sort of had the predictability as well. I mean, and they were just drawing it out. It's like the sort of end sort of sequence with him trying to save the two that were still alive. I mean, they really dragged that out, and it was so obvious that he was going to get to like the cave and try and save them. And so why draw it out? You might as well just get to it quicker and get to the sort of action and stuff.
Yeah, I have to admit, by that point in time in the film, I was kind of watching it on fast forward with the subtitles on because I was just like, I cannot do this. I was just getting so fed up with the stupidity, and also then, like we said, that you went from like these really dumb, stupid scenes where they were like trying to make you care about the characters, and that's the thing. There were like quite a few scenes where we were obviously supposed to, like, you had the scene where the producer chick finds her boyfriend cheating on her, and then I can't believe they brought such a serious subject as self-harm into the movie. Like the blonde chick like talks about how she's like a self-mutilator, and I'm like, that's like a really serious topic that like affects so many teenage girls, and you just dropped it into this stupid hillbilly movie. Like what the hell? It was like such tonal dissonance. So like I went from like, so I was getting towards the end of the film, I was like, either I was getting fed up with the stupidity or I was feeling sick from the overtly gratuitous violence. And there was like a scene where when they get the commando dude and they've got him strung up and they're like gutting like another person next to him, and like the guy's like entrails are like hanging out, and like, I mean, I don't mind some gore in my horror films, but this was like gratuitous and over the top because it's like they didn't know how to do the normal scares, like suspense or anything like that. I don't know who directed this, but they obviously had how to build tension. So instead of doing that, they just kind of just threw it over the top violence. And did you have the birth scene as well? Like the scene where the two girls are like stuck in the cabin and one of the hillbillies is like giving birth, and there's like blood all over the floor, and like the baby is screaming, and like way too much blood for a normal birth. Like I've never actually seen a human be born, but I assume there's not that much blood, otherwise the mother's probably going to die. And again, it was just so over the top. And I mean, I like a good B-grade horror movie. I'm not a movie snob. I watch all kinds of bad movies, but this movie was just like beyond. Oh, and just so that you know, my note about the Indian dude was when I was, what was I? Oh, that's right. I'm just watching, minding my own business, and then holy shit, Indian dude just got scalped. Like that just came out of nowhere. So yeah, a lot of my notes from this movie are just all capitals. Like, what the hell is going on? It was insane. Like I said, I got about 40 minutes into the film and I was like, just started to watch it on fast forward because I couldn't deal with the stupidity any longer. It was just really starting to get to me. The acting was so bad.
Terrible,
like not even like soap opera level acting. This is like the type of acting that you see in like really D-grade like telenovas or something. It was awful. I think I recognized some of the actors from like B-grade things or like little bit parts. Like one of the dudes, the really sexist guy who's following the commander, the army chick around, he is in like an episode of Gilmore Girls playing like a rich douchey character. So like I did recognize a couple of them, but they were just truly, they tried to do anything that was like genuine or we talked about in the first movie how even though the characters were thin, there was still some that were charismatic. You had Jeremy Sisto was watchable to deal with what was going on, and Eliza Dushku and the main dude at least had a little arc. But like these characters were not even characters; they were just so flat and so stupid. Some ex-Iraqi army chick would be doing some cheesy reality TV show. Like when they said that she was like an ex-army vet, I was like, what the hell is she even doing? And I swear to God, this reality TV show is even worse. And that's saying something. So, and this one doesn't have Busta Rhymes to save the show. So
in 2007, and I mean, I get that reality TV was still very much a thing then, but it's almost like they missed the boat. It's almost like films were like trying to satirize reality TV long before 2007, because I mean it'd been around for like 7 years at that point as a form, and obviously it just does a lame job of it anyway. You don't believe in the premise. It doesn't really, there's nothing witty about it, obviously, largely apart from the opening kill. The horror kind of sucks in it, as you said, bad acting and everything, bad production. So really, really lame. I mean, I think it reminded me of a student film sort of thing, like a really low-level student film. The way the camera was like moved at times, and just the way everything looked in it. I mean, a really low-grade student film. So yeah. Yeah, a bit of a turkey, and I mean, it's just so funny that we've gone from a very credible first film in the franchise, well, not perfect, but very solid, and at least looks like a professional film, and has things going on, to such a bad second film. It's like, because normally with franchises, it normally takes a few films to, go down to this sort of level.
Very true,
but
yes.
We've hit the dead end straight away. First sequel out of the gate. So with that in mind, what are you going to rate Wrong Turn 2.
I can't give this any more than a 1 out of 10. I mean,
Okay.
there was literally nothing in this film that I could enjoy. It wasn't scary. It wasn't even so bad. It's good. I found myself cringing at so much of the dialogue and the characterization. I say with air quotes because that was just terrible. And just everything about it. Now, the only reason I'm not giving it 0 is because I usually I don't like to give films,
At least
absolute
give it
0. Because,
1.
it's still at least someone came out and they made it and they put effort into it and whatever. So for me, it's a 1 out of 10. And I don't think I've rated a movie 1 out of 10 ever in our ratings or ever in general. But what about you?
Yeah. I mean, on that sort of theme, there's a film critic in this country. I think he says, well, I think it's with the star system, like the 5-star system, that he doesn't give anything no stars because it looks like you haven't watched the film, sort of thing. It looks like you haven't rated it. Like, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would ever give anything a 0, but I'm gonna go a tad higher. I'll go 2 out of 10. I don't think it's quite. I've seen worse than this. No, not much, but I have seen worse than
that's
this.
impressive.
But no, I did like the opening kill, and not a lot else. One or two lines, but I think the problem was the comedy was probably just so cringe in a bad way, and obviously, as I said, some of the the lesbian humor was really mean.
That's not right.
Nasty.
No.
Yeah. So, but no, it was really bad. 2 out of 10. So how about that? 2 out of 10 and a 1 out of 10 for the first sequel, and this will be interesting to mark our cards with as we go along, because I've sort of went out and said, well, can it get any worse than this in the franchise? Well, we're going to find out soon, because we'll be coming back soon with Wrong Turn 3, and we'll see if it has a very low bar, but can it improve on this turkey? So thank you very much for listening, and thanks for putting us through this torture. We do it. Thank you guys,
subscribers.
So we'll be back soon. Obviously, like us, subscribe us. You can share us out on social media. You can support me at Patreon. That's patreon.com/boardnow for extra content. And we have hit a dead end. I think it's time to dust ourselves off for the next review. And we'll see you guys again later. Goodbye.